In challenging times, we must still remain faithful. The reality of our faith in crisis has convicting power when it's used by God. William Zacher, the German theologian, stated, "Times of trouble have often been times of triumph to a believer. Suffering seasons have generally been sifting seasons in which the Christian has lost his chaff and the hypocrite his courage." It is in difficult time, trying time, challenging time that we are purified further. And it also marks out those who are superficial and hypocritic in their attitude. They lose courage and give up. It has to do with persevering through pain, making it through times of trouble, being devoted in the midst of difficulty. Vance Havner said, "God marks across some of our days in our diary with this word, 'will explain later.'" We cannot get the answer immediately. Some of us may wonder, because when I first came back last Sunday, someone came up to me and said, "Pastor, I have lost my job. The company is downsizing." And I prayed for that person. I prayed that God will open the door for her. As I've seen God open doors for many who trusted the Lord. It may not be overnight. Some would take a couple of years, in fact. We have a member of our church who took a couple of years, lost his job, but now God has given him a job, and he come out stronger by the grace of God. And during that hard time, God uses his difficult times to bless many. Jeremiah's writing confronted people in exile who had many needs. Unfortunately, his people were being fed by the false hopes of charlatans who say peace, peace, but there's not really any true peace. Today's church faces the same problem. How can we deliver honest hope in times of trouble to the people? For instance, in Malaysia, we have many people who are outside the four walls of this church asking various questions. Good people, why are we facing trying times? And what kind of hope do we give them? Do we behave like the time of the false prophets of Jeremiah, the peace, peace, but truly there is no peace? And so in following this truth, there are three basic principles for all of us when we face difficult times to remember and to practice. And that will take us through to be what God will be able to do in our trying times. Like this gentleman who trusted the Lord in spite of his circumstances. And God used his time of feeling that injustice for the salvation of a family member, of a colleague that has been working with him for some time, observing every movement, every kind of action that he portrayed during the time when he was tested. The first principle is this. First principle is this: we must recognize the process which leads to distress. We must truly able to recognize the process which leads to distress. And the process that leads to distress is basically due to the problem of half commitments. In Jeremiah's days, people longed for their restoration and return to the temple. And today, we have people who also say that and long for revival to happen in the Malaysian church, in the Methodist church. Yet that is exactly where the problem lies. Our people say one thing, yet they respond another way. They don't follow through with full commitment. If you were to take out the bulletin here this morning, my friends, look at the bulletin carefully. And this passage is a very famous passage. All of us knew by heart. When we were young Christians, I knew this. And especially verse 11, where it says here, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and a future." We knew this by heart. We can quote to our friend by heart. But let me tell you this, which is the most important verse in this particular passage? Look carefully. Many people miss the point. It is not verse 11. Verse 11, though, is important, but it's not the most important. It is verse 13. Let me read to you what it says in verse 13. Many people don't remember this verse. They quote verse 11 without verse 13. It says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. With all your heart. Not with half-heartedness. The process of distress is due to half-hearted commitment today. If you have half-hearted commitment, you will not find the joy of the Lord welling out from your heart in spite of the circumstances.